you know, Stone Cold had to go to Vince McMahon and ask for approval to have Jericho on his pod. Stone
Twice.
Austin needs permission from the big man.
Yeah.
Now, listen, the difference is maybe Pat will fall in line because it's Vince McMahon giving him the orders. Because as much as you think you're the man, you see Vince McMahon, you probably still, you know, you're looking at the god of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? So maybe in this case, he'll be comfortable with it. We shall see. But I'll tell you what, I think he's a good fit for it. I do think, you know, depending on how he's allowed to do it and how they have him do it, I think he could be a really entertaining fit for replacing Graves.
Yeah, that's definitely as close as you can get to Graves without it actually being Corey.
But, you know, and for Graves, you know, now he's on Mondays. He's a soldier who switches jobs again. And we'll see. So with all of that being said, SGG, let's dive in to WrestleMania 37. Your initial thoughts, feelings on the weekend.
2 nights, just much, much, much more digestible than the one marathon super show. Having been to several WrestleManias and watching it literally grow into these events that end later and later. I think the latest one went close to 1 a.m. after starting at like 5 or 6. 2 nights, I would not trade those away to get back the marathon 1 day shows for anything. Keep it Saturday and Sunday. You know, this week was exhausting in other ways because then you had the Hall of Fame on Tuesday, 2 nights of TakeOver that led you right into SmackDown, and then into the next week of wrestling that just finally ended on Tuesday for WWE. But yeah, as far as WrestleMania, because they have grown so big and there's so many people to fit on the card and so many different angles that they have to run right into this one show, I love it as a 2-night event.
I'm with you, SGG. I really am. Like, there's rumors now that they're going to go back to 1 night again starting next year.
No, please don't.
The one hard part will be, how would you handle ticket sales for 2 nights? Because
how'd they handle it this week?
Well, SGG, it was only 25,000, right? So you could actually have people who buy some for 1 night, some for the next night, and then enough people who are willing to do and pay for both nights because it's only 25,000. Next year, they're going back to Dallas. 80, 85, 90,000 people, 100, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? What are you going to do with 100,000 tickets if you have 2 nights? I'm not saying there's no way to figure it out. I think there is a way to figure it out. I think you could offer, you know, really good package prices for both nights. But then remember, you have to pay to run the building both nights too. So it does get a little complicated with a full building. But I am with you. I find the 2-night thing to be great for a couple of reasons. One, it appears, to your point, that the days of a 9-match Mania, 8-match Mania are over.
Yeah.
You know, every year it feels like we're talking about 10, 11, 12 matches. I find that 2-hour kickoff show, 4 or 5 hour show to be just a grueling watch, even for the biggest of fans. The way it runs now, SGG, I feel like everyone tunes in for the kickoff show because it's only an hour. And so you get a lot of people coming there early and staying all night long. And you're able to have these short but sweet nights. So from a viewing standpoint at home, I really feel like you get people to commit. When you talk about pleasing advertisers, you're able to get people to commit to being there 2 nights straight, hours on end.
Yep.
Which from a sponsor standpoint is phenomenal. I also think from a fan standpoint, and I say this as someone who has made the trip as a fan more times than I've worked it. You make that trip, you want plans 2 nights.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to have plans on both nights that you're there. And why not, be able to have a whole weekend? It's almost like going to Bonnaroo. It's like going to a festival, getting to have plans both nights. Like, what are you going to do anyway? What would we do? We would go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the Hall of Fame, relatively compared to WrestleMania, is a snooze. Instead, you get 2 nights of wrestling. So I really, and I guess I'm biased too, because I enjoyed working 2 days and not doing one huge kickoff show, but an hour each day where you had time to break down that night's events. Now, we can get into the specifics of how the nights broke down, because I think in the end, everyone agrees night 1 was significantly better than night 2.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to feel that way.
Yeah. But before we get into that, though, too, I mean, you just have to think about it from a talent standpoint, too, with those marathon manias that would end late. The crowd loses steam after a while. There's just only so much of a point you can push it to for the crowd. I think about, the WrestleMania in New York, when you had Kofi Mania, and this is after Seth Rollins slays the Beast, and the crowd was supposed to hold on for Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. And I think they lost a little bit of momentum there. The same thing with New Orleans. They had a hot WrestleMania, the second New Orleans one. They had a hot WrestleMania, and then by the time Braun teamed up with Nicholas, it started to dive a little bit. So it's like you break that up, you get to keep that hot crowd and that momentum for everybody who has to perform.
I agree with you 1,000% in that regard, because it always bums me out that you get to the main event and people are completely worn out. And that wasn't the case here either. Now, if the crowd wasn't as up on Sunday as they were on Saturday, to me, that was only because of the matches. And so let's get into WrestleMania. First of all, night 1, the rain delay was crazy. For me personally, the rain delay added excitement. Because I'm a part of the broadcast, etc. I was excited by the idea of a rain delay and being told to be ready, because there's going to be more work to do, and there was. I thought it created a really frenetic energy, but in the end, it was hard because you start the show, Vince McMahon starts WrestleMania, and we bring in, there he is himself, Dip.
Woo!
Has joined the program.
Are we still at? I'm still at Mania. Are you still here?
Are you at the bar?
I'm still sitting at the end of the bar. I'm still here. Where did you guys go, by the way?
We'll be right there. Well, who's at the bar right now? Who's down there?
I see a couple of Usos. I see a Bailey and Sasha. They're eating chicken fingers and slaw.
Oh, your dream come true. By the way, the hotel bar, the fakakta, nothing food of the century.
Let me tell
you,
it could have been
disappointing.
Something. It could have been something.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
What, the
that
bar,
turkey?
You mean the food at the bar?
Well, listen, the
setup of the bar was great.
I didn't love that turkey sandwich.
I know.
One piece of avocado. That's all you need on a turkey sandwich. You don't need to stuff it with avocado.
Well, I mean, trust me, though, speaking of avocado, my avocado toast was it was dreck. It was dreck.
It really was. It was dreck. I saw that.
It was a shame.
Enjoying it.
So now, Dip, of course, Dip nearly called the start of WrestleMania perfectly.
Yeah.
It was Hogan, Titus, Drew McIntyre.
Well, Vince first I called.
Well, that was not what you predicted. That was what you wanted. But
right.
We did get that, which, oh my God, that was such a save. Because, guys, Hogan was mercilessly booed the entire weekend.
They covered it up well for the broadcast, though.
Oh, you couldn't really tell?
They piped in the cheers of the cinch for Hogan. It was like a hero's welcome.
Oh, really? I have to go back and watch that. That's really interesting, because when we were there, I mean, I looked to the left and right of whoever I was with, and everyone was like, wow.
I saw fan footage from the arena, and you could hear just like it was like if the trash was coming down, then there would have been no mistaking that he was being booed. But at home, they definitely knew what was coming, and they knew to pipe in some cheers.
There are going to be some tough decisions about using Hogan moving forward, because Titus would talk, yay. Hogan would talk, boo. I mean, I was in the bathroom, and I ran to the bathroom real quick. And when I heard Hogan talking, I literally said to nobody, no one replied to me. I'm at the urinal and I'm like, what is he saying right now? Because of the boos. I was like, did he turn heel on the crowd? Like it was noticeable.
And by the way, we know you were at the bathroom because your mic was on. You announced it.
It's a great point, buddy.
You announced it to all the viewers at home.
I was also in the bathroom from the Little Caesars cheese pizza that was made available to me at the arena.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, by the way, the bathroom thing, that was unfortunate. But you know what? People were like saying, I was like worried I said something really bad. And then I found out they were like, oh, you said you had to go to the bathroom. I was like, people have to go to the bathroom.
No,
the last guy who got recorded on a hot mic ended up hosting. So if you would have went too deep with it, who knows? Sky's the limit for you.
SGG, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Keep a hot mic on me 24/7. We'll never get what was got on the host. Okay.
We'll say great.
You may hear some wrestling takes that would be controversial, some music. People are like, wow, you're really not. Oh, wow. That's about the extent of it. It would be like a podcast. It would be no more than that.
We need to do this.
So, Vince coming out was a great call. We all agree, right?
Yes. It was a great call.
What was interesting was Roman and Heyman was in the front line with the McMahons. Did anybody notice that?
He was in the front line? I thought he was right behind.
Who was?
Roman and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I believe it was Triple H, Stephanie, Vince, Roman Heyman.
I think they were
Roman Heyman.
I think they were a foot behind. I believe, I'll have to watch again. I believe that Steph, Triple H, and Vince the three of them were one step ahead of everyone.
Including Shane? I'm pretty sure that Roman was in line with Shane.
They were layering and layering.
Layering.
Roman was far ahead of the rest of the roster. Let's put it like that. There were the McMahons with Roman and Heyman, and then everybody else.
So the night starts. The Vince Open I thought was fantastic. Then there's a 30-minute delay, and they had some people that they're working to get through the delay who did a great job. And then after that, you get into Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, and what a tough spot it is to now not only start the first live event in a year, but after a 30-minute delay. And I thought I enjoyed that match, but it seemed like that match didn't get the same good reviews that others did on the card.
I enjoyed that match too, but I mean, it's like you said, as the show built and the other matches rolled in and the night one came to be what it was, as good as that match was, it was very tough to beat other matches on that card. And then as good as night 2 was, it was just tough to beat the totality of night 1. But just in keeping it with that match, I did enjoy that match. They had good chemistry that we can see, I'm sure built from their days in TNA, working world title matches over there. Bobby Lashley just looked dominant. That finish I thought was perfect. It was a clean finish.
If anyone doubted whether or not Vince McMahon is in love with Bobby Lashley, the finish tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. Like Drew didn't tap, and I get that. And he
went to sleep.
That's huge. Yeah. He went to sleep from a move that was not the sleeper hold. He went to sleep from a move where his neck wasn't being, you know what I mean? It was just incredible.
A lot of people said Drew McIntyre only went to sleep because he'd been hanging out with Dip Flair the night before. He was worn out.
It's possible.
Blame
Dipper Steve.
I got to tell you though, it started off. I got to tell you, I was very emotional the moment that I was with Natalie. She couldn't believe the spectacle. She had never, I don't think, seen anything like it, unless you've been to a Super Bowl or the circus at the same time.
Right.
I don't think that you really quite. When that pyro hits at the beginning of WrestleMania in front of how many tens of thousands of people, There is a feeling, no matter how old I get or the age of whatever wrestling fan. Obviously, if you're a kid, it hits different. But if you are, especially about the amount of raccoons that you spent on the tickets, which this year I spent a significant amount of raccoons.
Yeah, well,
but you think you know people in this town. Besides that, okay, the feeling that you get when that pyro hits is about as emotional a guttural experience as you possibly can have as a wrestling fan. And if you've never experienced it, save up some raccoons for Dallas next year.
Yes,
because it is going to be it'll be the second or most highest attended Mania of all time.
Yeah,
so
it's true what you say too. Like we've been to takeovers, Rumbles, Raws, SmackDowns, random pay-per-views throughout the year. But when they give you that countdown that the WrestleMania is about to begin, and then they show the warning that everybody gets at home to let the crowd know that the show has started, the rush of adrenaline really is unlike
the flyover and the
it's like not like anything you've ever experienced in
Yeah,
wrestling.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah.
These planes are flying very close together.
Yeah.
It's too close.
Yep.
Separate them a little bit.
They're flying and flying confirmed.
Yeah, if there's one problem, God forbid,
Well, no, it's no worry. Some of our taxes go to military training. They got it covered. They.
By the way, can you believe that this weekend, all the great things to talk about, I managed to say great guy and swinging on the kickoff show. Both of them.
The world was watching.
Yeah.
I've never gotten more DMs in my life after that. I mean, that was really something. That was something.
That you wanted something? I gave you something.
Hold on. Before you get it, the highlight of my weekend, okay, was standing there with Natalie, watching you do the kickoff show in the rain. I mean, I'm the friend agent of the cinch, okay?
You are.
It's pouring and pouring.
Yeah.
Okay. We're standing there in the rain, with lunatics, okay, screaming and yelling your name and chanting and filming them. It was maybe the greatest moment of my life.
Natalie was directing chants. It was
We're directing chants. We're starting them. We got children involved, parents.
It was something. It was something.
How do you hear the screaming when you have to hear it completely, right? We're 10 feet away.
I have things in my ears, but I can hear it galore, especially because when they're yelling and I'm not on the air, I'm just sitting there. I can hear it galore.
And when they're yelling like obnoxious things at Kayla and JBL and everybody.
Yeah, everyone hears. Everyone hears.
They're hearing it here.
Yeah. Now I got to ask you, Dip.
It looked great.
In the crowd.
Yeah.
What was the most over thing of the whole weekend?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
I mean, yeah, he was the baddest he's ever been, that Bunny.
Yeah, that Bunny was on fleek.
He was hopping and hopping.
Yeah, confirmed. He was hopping up a storm. It was mage.
I knew that there was chatter that the match was going to be like 20 minutes and it was going to be a real match. But like watching, I mean, the entrance I thought was mainly for television, and I'm like, oh, like he overshot the entrance. Like the semi thing was stupid.
It was made.
Then he got out there.
TV, you liked it on TV, SGG?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the crowd you couldn't see anything because it was like he came in in the corner, so you couldn't see it. But it was fine, regardless. Look, man, he's gonna do a Canadian destroyer. Once he hit
a bunny destroyer.
Whatever. Once he hit the drop toe hold, that was it. And it was all it took was a drop toe hold. And everyone was like, oh, he hit a drop toe hold.
Well, no, even before the drop toe hold, when he did the shoot wrestling move, it was like he looked like an amateur wrestler the way he went behind Miz. Like he dropped to one knee and then came around and had Miz at the waist. And I was just like, this boy's been studying tape.
But I'm just saying, in the crowd, once he hit the drop toe hold, it was like Luthez.
Yeah, no, he did very well. I was very impressed. I mean, I heard some of the chatter through you guys of just him training and him, really trying to prepare for this moment. And I think he knocked it out of the park, quite honestly.
He couldn't have done any better. And by the way, it's not just that he learned the wrestling moves. To be honest, his swagger and persona during the match were incredible.
Yeah, his facial expressions, just like he learned the wrestling moves, but he also learned the art of pro wrestling in what has to be record time. I mean, just his facial expressions, the way he sold things.
He's a
great job.
It was everything you could have wanted out of a pro, let alone a celebrity who was there just to do this. And then
SGG, are you ready to say that it was better than the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels Iron Man match?
I am not ready to say it was better than the Iron Man match, but it was better than the Bret Hart Vince McMahon.
Thank you. Yes, it
was better than the Bret Vince.
It was up there. It was good. It was very good.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about that match without talking about how superb of a performer the Miz is as well.
And Morrison,
by the way, looks great. He's never looked better, and physically. And him working the crowd during that match was really the whole I mean, it was just as important as Bad Bunny. He made Bad Bunny in that match.
Here's why you love WrestleMania this year.
He's such a pro, the Miz. Oh.
Here's at least why you love Saturday. In both the Bad Bunny match and the New Day AJ Omos match, the use of traditional classic wrestling stuff to pop the crowd galore was so effective. Like, I just rewatched the New Day AJ Omos match. The way that they just didn't let AJ get the tag for so long.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was keep teasing the tag, tease the tag, tease the tag. The second Omos comes in, he got as huge a pop imaginable given the spot. And he did a great job. He didn't even have to do that much at that point. And it was a rousing success. It was what we said it would be. It was a moment. We got something. That was something.
And there was something galore there at Saturday night. There was something after something. I mean, I loved it. I look at me. Listen to what I'm saying. The words coming out of my mouth. I loved it. I thought it was electric in the crowd. I was sitting in front of like a family of 6 who like had young kids or whatever, and they were like, everything was over with them. The Bad Bunny thing was insane. I would say the second, and you have to sit around fun people to make it really the experience really whole. But I'll say the second biggest pop was on night 2 also when Sheamus, the Sheamus kick was wow. I mean, that kick, that finish to that match was yeah. I'll tell you the other thing. I mean, that was an incredible finish. And then, what was the second match of the whole thing?
You mean on night 1 or night 2?
Yeah, night 1. It was the tag. What was the third match?
Rollins and Cesaro.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm looking. I thought this was going to be a boring match. I look at Natalie and I'm like, let me just explain something to you. This is wrestling.
This is what these guys are doing.
Yeah, there's something going on in this match for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the highest level professional athlete. So funny. She doesn't know much. So every single time somebody came in, I'm like, this guy is basically one of the greatest wrestlers on earth. And it was like, she was like, you're saying that for every single person.
I was going to say, did it lose its luster after the 4th time?
The luster was gone instantly. You couldn't even see luster at the end. It was lusterless. I was the Mark who cried wolf.
So here's my question. What 2 matches should have been flip-flopped to make Sunday closer in excitement to Saturday? What could you have swapped where Saturday would have still been great, but Sunday would have been much better?
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, you give Bad Bunny to Sunday, and you take the Nigerian drum match.
I
said the same thing.
Smart. Anyway, we're the Dabba-Kato thing I thought was something.
Yep.
It was something.
Yeah.
See where that goes tonight. Yeah.
That's probably why they didn't do that though. Like, you can't have 2 giants on the same. Two Nigerian giants on the same show. Both beating up New Day members.
Omos.
Omos
was the 3rd biggest pop, I would say, of the weekend as far as like in-ring stuff.
I'll tell you what though, if you made a full Nigerian faction with Cruz leading it, and Dabba-Kato and Omos.
Yo.
Wow.
Yo.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot there.
The
Now-
man's gargantuan.
Now, did anybody talk to Wale about how it felt doing Big E's theme music as he went against his countryman, Apollo?
Oh, I made fun of him. If you mean talk to him about it, if you mean busting his balls.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah, that was very funny. That he was like, man, he said that he had to post like a like I love Nigeria post just to balance out energy.
Yeah.
But that was by the way, that was pretty cool too. I was pretty psyched for Wale getting to come out at WrestleMania and perform in front of 25,000 people for his real life friend to come have a match. I mean, it's a bummer that he was going up against a Nigerian character, but still, that must have been really, really cool. I was proud of Wale for that. By the way, I saw his shirts. His shirts were selling, I believe.
Yeah, those shirts are made.
Wale is confirmed GG.
I bought the New Day shirt. They sent me the Ron Simmons shirt. It's amazing.
You have two shirts.
I have two shirts.
They're sending you shirts? How come I don't get shirts?
You should send
their people got to call their people.
You should reach out to Kaz right now and say, what the hell is going on here?
You don't think I'd wear that shirt? Of course I'd wear that shirt.
I have the Mark Henry one.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
It's a gorgeous item.
So Kaz is responsible for not sending me shirts? You think you know people in this town?
I think you know people in this town. So we have to talk about the two main events. Sasha and Bianca, we said it had to be an absolute masterpiece. I believe it was.
Yo, it was so good that calling it just a masterpiece feels disrespectful.
Wow, SGG, do you always have to go?
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Always.
Of all time.
Yes, I do.
All right, so you think it was better? This one you think was better than the Iron Man match?
This one I do think was better than the Iron Man match.
Wow,
I do. If I had to rank all the WrestleMania matches,
would you put this above Austin versus Brett?
No, Austin versus Brett is solid number one. Solid number one. No. This match goes into the top 20.
All right, top 20. Okay, I like
this match goes into the top 20. Top 10
sounds reasonable.
There's an argument for top 10.
Is what makes you a crazy man.
But here's why I say that though. Easily the best women's match in WrestleMania history.
Yes.
Easily. Possibly the best women's match of all time, certainly in the conversation. And when you have them doing it like, so good that it's better than the vast majority of the matches, period, in WrestleMania history, you just have to bow down and give respect to that. This is one of the matches that's going to go down in the pantheons of WrestleMania greatness, along with, a Bret Austin, along with a Michaels Undertaker 1 and 2, along with a Savage Steamboat, just by virtue of this doing what those matches did for wrestling and wrestlers, for women and Black women in particular. Like the pressure was on and they lived up to the pressure immensely, because that's a factor that those other matches that we talk about did not have. When you book Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, you don't have to worry about it. When you book a Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, you don't have to worry about it. Savage Steamboat, you don't have to worry about it. But the pressure of the history, and you could tell that they felt that too. Bianca was crying when the match started, and Sasha was holding back tears. So they felt the weight of everything that they had to do, and they still smashed it.
Yeah, and by the way, they were working you through that. But anyways, yes, that.
Think so? You think that was a work? The shine?
This is one of those moments I have to pull you guys aside.
Bianca can't be that great of an actress. Listen, if Bianca's that great of an actress, send her to Hollywood.
By the way,
I do not think. No, Bianca was not working then.
Bianca was not working. If Bianca was working, send her to Hollywood.
By the way, that's how good she is. She did it after the Royal Rumble too, guys. She's called a worker. This is what she does.
Send her.
No.
Dip, call her up.
Being.
Yeah.
Human being.
Exactly. She has a heart. Peter Rosenberg, Heartless Peter Rosenberg. That's your new nickname. We got Dip Flair and Heartless Peter Rosenberg.
By the way, just for the record, you're the ones insulting her. I'm giving her credit. That's called, she was doing her job. She was doing her job.
Okay. All right.
She did her
Mr.
job when
WWE.
she did her job bell to bell. She felt the emotions that we felt, and she's one of us.
Yeah, okay.
She's one of us.
Yeah, she's one of you, all right. Sure. You two would be waiting outside with a poster and a Sharpie. She's one of you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course. Giving her the respect that she deserves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. They were both amazing, and they had something that Savage and Steamboat, for example, didn't have, which is called a storyline that really wasn't special. Savage and Steamboat had this story that had been told masterfully over 6 months.
Yo, I thought Savage murdered Steamboat with the bell.
It was incredible.
The bell, Savage.
They didn't give Sasha and Bianca really much to work with. And the only way to make the whole thing work would be to put on a masterpiece. And that's what they did. They delivered. Yeah. They were amazing. And, you know, Bianca is a great talent. But to me, this match is a celebration of Sasha Banks' genius in the ring. That's, you know, Bianca will get there, and she was great, and she did everything she needed to do. But the reason that match ends up being, you know, a 5-star match is because of Sasha Banks. It was a clinic. She is an absolute pro. Say whatever you want about Sasha Banks in every other category you want. In that ring, she's an all-time pro, and she was fantastic.
She's a great guy.
How about the main event on Sunday?
Yo, the bar was set very high, and I think they walked right up to it, and they met those expectations. It was just a great main event. I love how everyone got to show their strength, and that finish, just that finish of Roman, like doing what he said he was going to do, stacking them, pinning them, 4 shoulders to the mat, 1, 2, 3. I think they delivered in ways that I didn't think they could after night 1.
Dip, did you enjoy the triple threat?
Yeah, I thought the best. Yeah, I thought it was good. I was tired by that at that point. I thought Edge was going to win, but in the back of my, like, there was a 10% in the back of my mind that said Roman's going to probably win this match.
Right.
Who will beat this man? Who is going to beat Roman Reigns? Is it Edge at SummerSlam?
I don't think it's Edge anymore.
I don't think it's Edge at all. I don't think Edge or
Daniel Bryan. You think good night, good luck to Edge?
I think good night, good luck from the title picture, and now Edge is going to have a few meaningful stories with individual people, and that's that. That's what I think.
Wow.
I think the person to beat Roman Reigns quite possibly isn't even on SmackDown right now. You know?
I don't know. It's a big, healthy mystery for wrestling fans of who is going to be the person that beats Roman Reigns. I mean, I guess it's seemingly at this point not Brock Lesnar. Who will he face at SummerSlam? Daniel Bryan or Edge, or no?
I don't know.
So I think it's a big question. You have King of the Ring coming up, or not King of the Ring?
WrestleMania Backlash.
You have Backlash, and then what's after Backlash? Money in the Bank? Yeah.
I think we'll probably get Big E sometime soon. I don't know.
So. Maybe. I hope so. I'll tell you who the highlight of Sunday night. I would say, let me tell you who gave the best performance on Sunday night, and that's Jerry the bartender.
Really?
He was a great guy.
Really?
The man was just moving in between.
He was pouring and pouring.
Unbelievably well. Him and his manager, his valet, Mort, who was also the bar back. He was a great guy.
I guess it's not good to be the king if Jerry was bartending. Different Jerry?
Jerry was pouring and pouring. And trust me, he didn't have any of Jerry Lawler's terrible jokes. Guys, I'm late for therapy. I got to go. We'll come back again next week. In fact,
are we not doing Black Power rankings?
Well, of course we are. That's why I got to wrap up first, though. I'm being told, by the way, that there'll be a special guest next week. So I'll keep everyone posted. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But before that,
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
What do you got, SGG?
This was probably the blackest WrestleMania I've ever seen, and it's only right that we get a supersized Black Power rankings worthy of a 2-night WrestleMania. Before I get into it, though, I'm going to drop some honorable mentions. Leon Ruff and Swerve Scott of NXT deserve an honorable mention. I watched the inaugural Tuesday episode, and not only was the match phenomenal, These two men have been embroiled in a months-long feud. The match was amazing this weekend. And then Leon Ruff attacks Swerve Scott and shows a fire that I've never seen to show that this feud is going to go. Hopefully it keeps going and going, because I want to see them do more, especially after seeing a side of Leon Ruff that we haven't seen before. And another honorable mention to Wale and Kaz, just for that Wrestlemania collection. I told you earlier, you gave me FOMO. They did too. Just watching all you guys post and everything that you guys were doing this weekend.
Great time.
Yeah, you guys had a great time. I hate that I missed it. And at number 5, Wes Lee of MSK, one half of the new NXT Tag Team Champions. They just showed up on NXT this year, I believe, right before the Dusty Classic. And in that time, they debut. They beat every team they face on their way to winning the Dusty Classic, and then now have become NXT Tag Team Champions after taking the vacant title. So shout out to him. Usually when somebody comes in, I think they build up to this point, but he came and the rocket is strapped on his back, and he is now a champion in record time. In at number 4, Big E and Apollo, that Nigerian drum match. I didn't know what to expect, but it was dope. They definitely showcased their talents. It wasn't as brutal as a typical street fight, and they didn't even use a drum as a weapon, even though many of them were
not drumming
around the ring. But yeah, there was no drumming, but it was still a great match. And then Apollo builds his faction with the addition of Dabba-Kato and becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. So they're coming in number 4. And in number 3, Omos. I mean, I can't say enough about this guy. When he won the match for him and AJ, I tweeted out that Omos should be a world champion very soon.
Who predict? Wow, that's fast. Who picked this match correctly, by the way?
You did. You did. And you may say that's fast, but I mean, listen.
Wait, yes, it's borderline crazy, but it's
Omos has everything to be a champion based on who he is. He's a giant. He doesn't need to put on a 5-star classic. He can dominate. He can convincingly win a championship, hold on to it. And then I think if they rush it to him, it might feel like a rush, but I mean, I do think he performed better than the great Khali did in that role.
That I agree with.
Also because of his ability to eat pancakes.
Oh, the pancake eater of the money.
But also because in one night, he turned millions of wrestling fans into Homo sapiens. I am a huge fan of Omos. And yeah, he's coming in number 3. He could be higher if not for the top 2 spots. Bobby Lashley in the number 2. He walked in as champion. He faced Drew McIntyre, who is no slouch, a former 2-time champion himself, and just dominated Drew McIntyre on his way to retaining the championship, which I got to admit, a lot of people didn't think it would happen, but it happened. And Bobby Lashley walks out and still your WWE champion. And in at number 1, we're going to do this one as a 1 and 1A. Bianca Belair, number 1, 1A, Sasha Banks. You just heard us speak about it. This match was a masterpiece.
It was something.
It was history making. It was star making. It was so great that it made you forget about all our reservations that we had due to the build. And then Bianca Belair, congratulations. She made sure that Sasha Banks did not get her first WrestleMania win off of her.
She sure did.
Congratulations to Bianca Belair, and also congratulations to Sasha Banks. Just again, like you said, another masterpiece, an instant classic. This match was as monumental as we said it was going in, and that has been your Black Power Rankings.
I love you both.
Chad Gaspard, Black Power Rankings.
Stay mage.
Yeah, stay mage, yeah.
Yeah, and enjoy yourself. And email us.
Take it easy, man.
Put the mailbag next week. It's happening.
Can we do the mailbag finally? I want to hear all my hate mail.
Yeah, hate mail next week.
I would like to introduce in the corner to my left,
The Majesty.
sweet Peter Rosenberg.
And then I went to makeup and like sat in front of the mirror a little bit and got myself together.
Also, ladies and gentlemen.